Hi friends, welcome back to English IELTS Coach. And here I am with you again with a video on IELTS speaking. As you see, there are numerous videos which are readily available online which will give you tips and tricks to answer the speaking test. But there's a marked difference which you will notice here in my lessons because it's expertise and qualification that gives a person an edge over others. I have been training in this field of English and IELTS training for almost 24 years now, and I keep updating my expertise with the feedback of my students. So, in this lesson, I'm going to share some strategies which I'm sure you'll not find elsewhere. IELTS speaking has got three parts. And part one, today we are going to deal with part one. It's basic. You'll be tested on a variety of questions centered around your life, your occupation, family, education, hometown, hobbies, etc. And this lasts for about roughly 3 to 4 minutes. And today I'm going to give you a secret tip that's called, I call it a two-step process to answer only part one. So our focus today is part one. So I'll first give you an example of band 5 answers, how a particular candidate has answered three questions from the examiner, uh, and he'll surely get about band 5. And let's see how he answers. First question, let's talk about your home country. What is the climate like? And the answer is, it's hot most of the time. Sometimes there is rain. Thank you. What are the main industries? Making cars and buses. And there are many factories which make plastic things. I see. And what are the main festivals? Hmm. Here, as you notice, the candidate is confused and he wants a clarification on the word festival. So he is asking the candidate, what does festival mean? And mark my words, it's not a mistake. Don't think that your marks will reduce or your score will reduce if you ask for a clarification. If you feel that you need a clarification on any given word asked by the examiner, you can go ahead and ask the meaning of that particular word as is done by this candidate. So he's asking, what does festival mean? And the examiner is giving him a clear definition of the word festival. It means a special time when communities and families celebrate something. So now he gets the point, and his answer is, oh, okay, well, our big festival is in summer. I see. Now, the same three questions are answered by a band 9 scorer, the same examiner and the same questions. Let's go through it now and see the difference now. Let's talk about your home country. What is the climate like? And the candidate is answering, it's generally hot and humid, although it rains heavily in October. This has a big influence on our way of life and our industries because work tends to stop in the rainy season. Thank you. What are the main industries? The main industry is the production of cars and buses, which are mostly exported. Plastic items, especially toys, are important exports as well. In fact, we tend to export most of the products that we manufacture. I see. And what are the main festivals? Now, again, this particular candidate has a doubt. He has not got the word correctly. So you say, can you explain what the word festival means? So there is no problem in getting a clarification from the examiner. So again, the examiner says it means a special time when communities and families celebrate something. Thanks. And now he goes ahead with the answer. Well, our principal festivals are religious because most people in my country follow the same religion. We have a 3 day festival in summer when people exchange gifts. We also have a National Independence Day in January. On both festivals, families celebrate together and the shops close for several days. So we need to plan these events carefully, as you can imagine. So now, if you notice the answers given by these two candidates, you will see in the second example, the candidate was using more advanced vocabulary. Example, humid, tend to, exchange. This is one reason why the mark would be higher. However, the main reason the band score is high is because the candidate used a two-step process to answer the questions. Now, what do we mean by this two-step process? Let's go to the first answer and analyze it and learn the meaning of two-step process. See the first answer. given by the band 9 scorer. It's generally hot and humid, although it rains heavily in October. This has a big influence on our way of life and our industries because work tends to stop in the rainy season. Here, the candidate describes the climate and then gives a second, more general piece of information about the climate. He doesn't stop by saying that it rains heavily in October. He expands the answer. He gives an additional piece of information about the climate, telling us about its influence. Let's go to answer 2 now about the industries. The main industry is the production of cars and buses, which are mostly exported. Plastic items, especially toys, are important exports as well. In fact, we tend to export most of the products that we manufacture. So you see, he has not stopped by saying what is being produced. He also talks a little bit more about plastic items and what is being exported. So here the candidate is very clear about the two-step process. He gives a general piece of information and he creates an impression. He shows that he has thought about the nature of his country's industries. Okay, before I give you some practice, this indeed is what is going to help you in scoring more. This is called two-step process. That means you give an initial piece of information and then a further more general piece of information showing that you understand the situation or that you have considered the situation. Now here you have to mark this very important tip that the answers are roughly 3 sentences in length. You don't need to give more than 3 sentences for a part 1 answer. And I would strongly recommend you to practice this two-step process that I taught you just now. And I have given you a few questions from part 1 here, which are the most likeliest questions which are always usually asked in the part 1. So I want you to practice this two-step process using these questions. So here is a series of questions, and do feel free to ask me any questions you would like to ask me on part 1. And if you want the answers to these questions, please let me know in the comment section, and I will again explain these answers using the two-step process in my next video. So have a nice time practicing for speaking and wishing you all the best. Have a great day.